first off, Lions came out biting kneecaps, all in your face, like not scared of the moment at all, right? I mean, like the 49ers had a kind of a, let's feel the game out. How are they going to play us, blah, blah, blah. And it looked like the Lions were like, we know how you're going to play it, how you're going to play us, and we're coming out throwing haymakers right from the start. And they had the 49ers backed up against the ropes early on in the football game. I mean, it was one big pass after another from Jared Goff. They were running the ball, right? You know, the 49ers miss a field goal. Then Brock Purdy throws the interception down the middle, and you're going, wow. I mean, this Lions defense that was pretty average all year, making the 49ers kind of look elementary and can't get anything going. Wow, this great 49ers defense, you know, been so good for so long. Doesn't even matter. 3rd and 10, 3rd and 18, whatever. Lions are converting. They're doing whatever they want. And we just hadn't seen that from the 49ers in any game other than the Ravens late in the year. So I think that's where it was shocking. And you felt like, oh, man, 24-7 at half. Lions got it going. They're a team that keeps the pedal on the metal usually throughout a football game. You know, what's going to happen here in the second half, as we know, because the 49ers are not a comeback team. This is something that's, you know, not one of the things that's very deep or a lot on the resume of Shanahan or Brock Purdy. So that's where it seemed like the deck was stacked against them, and they made an incredible comeback in the second half and really started to control the game from there on out.
Last weekend, when the Ravens were tied up with the Texans at halftime of their divisional round game in Baltimore,
right?
That was when Lamar Jackson went into the locker room and said some words he couldn't repeat at his press conference after the game. Brock Purdy and Peter King got together after the game, and it sounded boring what happened in the 49ers locker room. He said, you know, Fred Warner said a few things, Kyle said a few things, but it was all about getting refocused, refueled, and going back out there. Like there was a quiet calm. There was a confidence that they could turn this around. And I don't know whether the experience on Christmas night against the Ravens gave them context, gave them like, you know, but this is the mark of a championship team.
Yeah.
Where they can take a situation that it's very easy to say, just not our day, just not our time, we'll get them next year, and completely turn it and bend it to their will and just make it happen. And you don't have much of a chance to do it. First drive of the second half, you better do something.
Right.
And all they got was a field goal.
That's right. But got a little momentum going.
Like,
got it going a little.
But it's a little something.
Right.
And then it sets the stage for what's to come. And when we get done praising the 49ers, I'm sure we both have some things to say about the decisions made by Lions coach Dan Campbell to pass on field goals and go for it on fourth down. But that was the moment, I think. There's always that moment where you're like, the door's open. You thought the door was shut. Now the door's open. When the Lions go for it on fourth down with about 7 minutes left in the third quarter, trying to answer the scoring drive by the 49ers to get a field goal to start the half that made it 24-10, the drop by Josh Reynolds, that was the moment the door opened.
100%.
All right, 49ers, here's your chance now. What are you going to do? They opened the door for you. What are you going to do?
Yeah, agreed. I mean, listen, I think, you know, you said a lot of good things. There's two things that jump out to me there. One, right, is last week, I think gave the 49ers confidence. A few times this year, when Brock Purdy needed to drive them down late in a football game, he did that. They haven't necessarily had that in the Jimmy Garoppolo era or anything like that. So there's a confidence in their quarterback, which there should be, because he made some incredible plays last night. You know, incredible. Greg Olsen pointed a few of them out. You know, we know it's not Mahomes or Lamar or Josh Allen, but still, there were some plays last night that you went, that goes way above and beyond what Kyle Shanahan drew on the chalkboard or the playbook. That was like, hey, guys, don't worry, I'll make something happen here. Nothing's there. So I think that confidence in the quarterback and his ability to bring them back and what he did last week keeps a team fighting like you're talking about. And then their coach, their head coach. They know more times than not, when their coach, it only takes them a matter of time before he starts to crack the code. You know, in the first half, hey, the Lions, we talked about it last week. They do some crazy stuff on defense. Some things sometimes that the quarterback and coach go, wait, that's not even sound. You shouldn't even be able to do that. And they do it. But obviously Shanahan and company got a hold of the situation, and they became the aggressor in the second half. And then I think not only becoming the aggressor in the second half, Mike, to your point, they allowed the aggression to continue, in my opinion, with Dan Campbell and the decisions he made, which I think I don't want to sugarcoat it. I think are absolutely horrible decisions. Horrible. You go up 3 scores on the road when a team just is starting to gain a little confidence. We cut it to 14, but oh man, they're outplayed us still the whole day so far. We're going to make it all about this moment. They're going to stop you. Jared Goff, moving in the pocket, not a great, off-schedule backyard thrower. And they're going to go, hey, you guys got a little momentum here. Here's some more. Why don't you make it a little harder on us? And that, I agree with you, is the point in the football game where everything changed. Of course, that then leads to a touchdown drive, the ball off the Detroit defender, Brandon Ayuk catches it, and then leads to the Gibbs fumble. And like you said, that was the turning point to where you went, whoa. Well, the 49ers were hoping to jump back in this thing, and now you've let them jump back in it, and they have all the momentum, and I thought that was a huge moment in the football game.
Remember last year when the Eagles got to the Super Bowl and they hit some adversity and they kind of tightened up and they changed their identity, and they had never really been in that moment. The past 2 games helped the 49ers because this occurred to me while you were saying what you just said. The general approach for the 49ers under Kyle Shanahan, and I may be oversimplifying, but
no, I know what you're saying.
Let me draw up the plan.
Yeah.
Let me draw up the plan. Trust me, we run the plan that I draw up, we'll be fine.
Right.
Okay, that works until it doesn't. Then what are your answers on one of those nights where the plan that Kyle Shanahan drew up, for whatever reason, isn't working? Yeah. How do you regroup? How do you refocus? How do you recalibrate on the fly? And there were moments, and you and I both love studying demeanor of key contributors in a football game during the game because you can't hide your face.
Right.
You can't hide your body language. You can't play poker all the time on that sideline. And there were a couple of shots of Kyle where I could just tell he was freaking exasperated.
Right.
And
the
he
first
was just
half,
like, what the hell is what is going on? What the hell is happening?
I told my wife at one point in the second quarter, I was like, he's like in shell shock right now. He's not like this on the sideline. He was like literally like, I can't figure it out. What are they doing? I don't know what's going on. And he's not like that, to your point. And you're right. I think he was definitely confused by the whole situation.
But what they're learning how to do is on those days when the best laid plans aren't playing out the way that they hoped,
right?
They're finding a way on the fly to make it happen. They're finding a way. Oh, and remember, he doesn't like the quarterbacks that make the off-schedule plays because if they start making off-schedule plays, they're not doing the things I'm telling him to do. Now you got Brock Purdy, who's capable of pulling the ball down and doing a little Patrick Mahomes, bob and weave and zig and zag through traffic and pick up yards. He had 48 yards rushing yesterday on plays where there wasn't anything there. And they don't think to have who's going to have a spy on Brock Purdy?
No.
So
big scrambles.
I mean, look, the kid who's had Tom Brady's shadow hanging over him, this vague notion of Kirk Cousins being available, that's all done now. Yesterday, he slammed the door on all that stuff. I'm still amazed it never came up last week, the things he said about Tom Brady to Nick Wagner of ESPN.com. I'm still amazed that wasn't a talking point. It had to be in his head. And the way he played yesterday should end that.
Yeah.
Should end that for the foreseeable future, if not forever.
I hear you there. Well, I think that's why you've seen Shanahan be so steadfast in his confidence for Brock Purdy. He saw these kind of things inside the player that made him believe he can pull us through these moments. Yeah, maybe not. He's not, Mahomes or Allen or Lamar Jackson, but can do some of that stuff, right? He's got a few of those moves and stuff in his playbook and his arsenal as well to go, hey, no problem. I can scramble on a big second down, a big third down. Early on in the football game, runs to the left, throws the ball back across the field to the middle of the field to convert on a third down. So he's shown us that ability, let alone, like you said, the ability to block out noise. I mean, that's where, he's the quarterback of a team that had a guy named Joe Cool there and is the greatest quarterback in the history of the 49ers franchise. And Brock has got a coolness about him that I don't ever really see him have that look of like, wait, I'm befuddled. I don't know what to do. I'm a little overwhelmed right now. And that gives their team confidence, and that allowed them to fight.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.